Welcome to Between Two Coaches, a digital mentors podcast for coaches, consultants, authors, speakers, and experts. I am your host, Norbert Orlewicz, and in each episode, we've got a conversation with successful and emerging thought leaders in the mentoring industry to share experiences, insights, and practical strategies to make a bigger impact with our work. This podcast is sponsored by our Digital Mentors Compass workshop. Most coaches, unfortunately, struggle to enroll enough clients consistently, not because they're bad at coaching, but simply because they lack clarity and simplicity in their marketing strategy. That's why we created the Digital Mentors Compass experience. It's a step-by-step workshop where you will clarify your marketing message and receive an AI-powered 30-plus page marketing report personalized for your specific business and goals. This is an interactive workshop where you will walk away with a personalized roadmap to finally achieve your goals with a simple plan you can actually follow. Register to attend the next workshop for free at compassworkshop.com. Again, that is compassworkshop.com. All right, today we've got a special guest. I'm super excited to have Stacey Hall with us today here. Stacey is the founder of Success with Stacey Hall. She's best known for her groundbreaking social media marketing training program, Go for Yes, which has helped thousands of people attract more sales, customers, and employee satisfaction and success. Stacey is the author of 5 global bestselling books and is a TEDx presenter. Her mission is to help salespeople attract and connect with their ideal audience, solve their audience's problems, and leave a legacy that lives on long after they are gone. Stacey Hall, welcome to the conversation.
Well, I'm delighted to be here in the studio, and I'm going to put in a plug for that workshop. Went through it myself a while back, helped me be able to truly hone in on everything I wanted to say it in a way that people could understand, and built my sales pages based on that. And so, for everybody, I'm telling you, it is a workshop that works.
Clarity and alignment. Those are kind of 2 things that we're going to be talking a little bit about here today, aren't we? So, Stacey, kick us off a little bit. Let's get started with one question here. I always like to start this question a little bit thought-provoking, go a little bit deeper, get a little bit of your insights. As we know, coaching is all about transformation.
Yes.
So what's been one of your, I'm sure you've had many, but what's been one of your most life-changing or recent impactful transformations in your life that has shaped your approach to coaching?
It was 18 years in the making, and I would say within the last year, I really got that the importance of vibration, frequency, that
Mm,
everything is energy. Like we talk about this as coaches, right? We're all about helping transform limiting beliefs. That we can do it the long, slogging way, or we can accept what Einstein said, everything is energy. If you want to manifest something, you must get to that frequency. And then there's no, you're going to have it. It's the true conversation of magnetic marketing. The law of attraction is really about the law of vibration. And so when I realized that for myself and stopped doing my best to go up the scale and just went to get into alignment, be a tuning fork, help other people get into that vibration. It is amazing how fast transformation occurs, and then they can go create transformation quickly for other people. So that's probably not what you were expecting. I guess it's taking 18 years to understand what that all meant. And then all of a sudden it clicked for me about a year ago.
Well, this is something that's been really fascinating to work with you over the last few years and to watch your process, to watch your philosophy, to watch your approach change and grow and develop. And I think this is one of the exciting things about our work as coaches. I mean, you've been training and coaching people for a couple of decades now, right? Like
Eons.
really each yeah, a couple of decades. There's years of experience there, right? And it's just fascinating to watch you constantly learning and growing and developing and coming into these new stages. So tell me, with all this experience, what do you think separates truly great coaches? I mean, those ones that really stand out. And I'm sure you've worked with a lot of coaches, and obviously you've
Yes.
coached a lot of coaches. Is it skill? Is it experience? Is it mindset? Or is it something entirely different?
All of what you said has to be present. And I would say, and listen, every great coach knows to get your own stuff out of the way, right?
Yes.
It's like be with the person, get your own stuff out of the way. And the really great coaches don't just do that.
Hmm.
They make sure that, and I'm going to come back to this over and over again, that they're standing in everything's fine. Like it's all great. And great coaching doesn't come from here, it comes from divine consciousness. That's truth. And they get their, when I say they get their stuff out of the way, we also have to get our ego out of the way. I was coaching somebody, yes, actually group coaching, and something came through me. Like literally, I've never said it before. It came in. I look at things like that, and it literally is like I look separate from myself and look, ooh, look at what the group brought through me. And it can happen in a one-to-one conversation. So it's acknowledging that it didn't come from the head, it came through pure consciousness. And I believe that clients feel that difference, whether somebody is claiming something they invented and created, or they give honor and gratitude to the bigger consciousness.
I like how you said that clients feel that, and we'll obviously be talking a lot more about that. I want to you were one of the early people talking about this concept of attraction marketing. I mean, we've read, Seth Godin and Mike Dillard talking about attraction marketing, but that's something that you've been teaching for many, many years.
Yeah.
And it led you to eventually creating one of the programs that I kind of was closely involved in watching you create, which was the Go for No program, which
The Go for No program? Uh-huh.
the Go for Yes, it's the exact
Yes.
opposite.
And yet, so you didn't just watch, you were very much instrumental in helping me recognize that what I was saying was not what everybody else was saying, which,
Yeah, the
yeah,
Go for Yes program was monumental, really, honestly. I think it was such an important program that you put out because it goes against all of the decades of traditional, conventional sales experience, which is, it's a numbers game. You got to go for no. You got to deal with the rejection and the objections. And the more no's you get, you're going to get those yeses. And
finally,
finally, and that does not work with the concept of attraction marketing, really, at its
not at all.
core, at its heart. Tell us a little bit about that problem. Why is going for no a challenge, an issue, and a problem?
Okay, and can you believe it's been 5 years,
Yeah.
maybe longer? No, it's longer. It's been 7 years since we brought that out.
Wow.
And what I'm really thrilled about is that most people agree now. Like when we first brought it out, do you remember the pushback we got? Like, of
Oh,
course,
yeah.
yeah. Oh my gosh. I
Yeah,
was
the
dealing
fights in
with
the
a,
comments section. Oh, yeah. I mean, you offended some people for
I
sure.
offended a lot of people. Why? Because it was like a sacred cow, right? Now, I don't know if it's a new generation or it's just been said so often that I bet people watching this are going, yeah, of course you go for the yes. So I'm just going to bring us back to re-presence for everybody what it was like not that long ago, where exactly that from decades and decades before, expecting people to say no and being prepared with objections to, your scripts to overcome objections. And what happened for me along that 18-year exploration of vibration and frequency and personal growth, we've all heard what you focus on is what you get.
Yeah.
And so, right there, like around 8 years from earlier than today, that hit me between the eyes. I'm like, I've been in sales all my life for well, actually, all my life, because my father was a salesperson from the time I was about 6 years old. And here I am telling people and also following trainers and teachers and coaches telling me just get out there, get a hard skin, right? Girlfriend, grow some balls. We'll just say, all of that. If you don't have thick skin, you should get out of the sales game.
You got to get out of your comfort zone.
Gotta get out of that comfort zone. Okay. And it was always men sharing that message and continuously telling women this is why we weren't successful in sales. And then I get this concept of the more no's I focus on, the more no's I'm going to get. And then I started doing research. There are tons of studies done, psychological studies done on negative thoughts, the word no itself. And it kept proving over and over again how debilitating it is. That word puts people into fight, flight, or fright. Okay. Then I would research what happens when people's nervous systems are in that state. There's no way we can be successful unless we are wired differently than most people to love that word. And so that's when everything started changing. That's where I came to. I said, I really want to tell people about this. I've been training my clients to do activities, communicate in a way that makes people want to say yes to you.
Yeah.
And it doesn't start with pitching. It starts with asking questions and offering, like things that now we just take for granted in marketing and selling. 8 years ago, that was not how it was done. So there you are. That was a trip back down memory lane, and I'm thrilled to know very rarely do I get old-fashioned pitches now. Very rarely.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't get a lot of my clients asking me how to deal with objections.
Yeah.
I've just kind of noticed. Like people don't, I never even think about objections anymore. Really. It's not something that I've trained on or dealt with in years, honestly.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring it up because it connects really nicely to the work that you're doing right now. And another piece of this that you just shared with me recently, just before this interview, and I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting, is that another controversial kind of concept here is that you're saying that know, like, and trust, which is what we've been building sales relationships on. You gotta build that know, like, and trust factor with
Yeah.
your prospect, right? Kind of common sense. You're telling me now that know, like, and trust isn't enough. What do you mean by that?
Okay. So even in my fifth book, I talk about know, like, and trust. And that's because of all the conversations you and I had, all the workshops we led together and all of that. And I'm not saying throw the baby out with the bathwater. People have to know us. They have to like us. They have to trust us in order for them to part with their money. But in the last year, I've been asking my clients and other people, do you feel like you've built trust with people when you make offers? And they'll say yes. And I can confirm that I feel that they have. And I say, so are they saying yes to you? No. When I say, are you making sure that you are at the highest vibration of emotion? And I'm gonna give a shout out to David Hawkins' Power versus Force.
Yep.
Okay, that's where I learned it. Gonna thank you for that chart, David, wherever you are. Thank you to Taneo Technology for providing the measurements. I believe they were the ones for the chart or whoever did the measurements. We'll look at that. I'll say, so where were you emotionally when you were making your offer? Were you in shame because you feel badly like you haven't made enough sales? So when you were making that offer, that was really the vibration you were in?
Mm.
Were you feeling guilty about something, or maybe just making an offer? You feel guilt that you're making the offer. These are all very low vibration experiences. Then you can come up a ways, as David talks about, and you can be in the mind, right? You can be logical.
My favorite place.
Except where has it ever been shown that sales take place mind to mind? They get made in emotion and backed up with logic, right? How we've known that for years and years.
Yeah.
So if these low vibration emotions aren't cutting it and the logic isn't cutting it, then what's above it? So looking at David's chart, because I'm telling everybody, it's not like I created it. I just got inspiration from it for selling, which that wasn't his intention. It was about just relationship overall. But going beyond go for yes, going beyond know, like, and trust. Above the rationale comes, we're going to say, upliftment on the way to enlightenment. So, joy, better than shame. Lots of people are like they do. They'll go, "Oh, I was so excited." Well, excitement has anxiety in it. Other people, if they can feel that energy, they won't be able to name it. They'll just feel it. Now you're causing their nervous system to jangle. They're not going to buy that. They don't need their nervous system to jangle more than it already is. Right? Then you come to love. You go, but I loved on them. I made them feel loved. I bet you did. And yeah, they could use more love, but they're not going to pay for love.
Hmm.
Okay. They can find love for free other places. So while they might like you, they might respect you, they might enjoy being in your space when you make an offer. If it's just coming from love, it's loving energy. They don't need to pay for that. And then above love is peace. You know, I just made it really peaceful. I showed them how they could have peace and hope and optimism. Is it, did they buy? No, I don't understand it. I do. Because when somebody's in a peaceful place, which is a wonderful place to bring them if you're already a client, if you're already their coach, they're satisfied. They're in a place of being satisfied. And there's no reason to take action because they're in peace.
Mm.
You brother, does this make sense? Like,
Mhm.
how many times have we done that? Then you go, okay, you want more of that, right? You're like, yeah, I'll get back to you about that. Thank you. This was really wonderful. And above peace is the actual vibration of enlightenment, where now we are tapping folks into their light. And I'm going to use the metaphor because it's been in my life all this time.
The
What I
lighthouse.
stand for, what my message is, right? So the values, the principles that I stand on, anchored in, so that my light can go out, and the light generator is enlightenment. That is the generator of our light, our message. And when we're talking to people about, okay, now, what are you up to in the world? What would you do for others? What is your mission and purpose? So they have to know us, they have to like us, they have to trust us, and we must tap them in, not to their big why. What? What actions would they be taking to help others if they knew how to do it and they had the energy to do it? And
Mm.
that's where our offers are meant to come from. And from there, transformation can occur.
So let me kind of clarify this because this is the first time that we've really talked about this in this detail. So let me ask the questions that maybe other people are thinking.
Yes,
Sounds a little bit. I can see to some of the skeptics. I'll put my logical hat on right now.
please do.
Right? Sounds a little woo woo, and at the same time, I'm like, oh, wait a second. If so we're trying to get them into and we need to show up in the state because
Yes,
of
yes,
mirroring, right? So we need to
yes,
show up in the state of enlightenment. And obviously when we use that word enlightenment, I'm thinking like, Buddhist monks sitting in a cave or monastery,
yes.
enlightenment type of thing. But I think you're talking about it slightly different. What
I'm
I'm
happy.
feeling, yeah, what I'm feeling from this, and correct me if I'm wrong, is we come into the state of, I'm going to just say the state of possibility,
Yes.
and we bring them into that state of their potential and their possibility. Am I tracking?
You are, and it's more than that. So it is a little bit of, but it's not, remember, it's not the peace. It's not the,
No,
I'm sitting here
no.
meditating, because it's above that.
Yeah.
It is, we are one and we are all been brought here for a purpose. So it is the place of, I'm clear what my purpose is when I'm talking with somebody. My purpose, if I'm a coach, is to tap in and help them fulfill their purpose. And there's nothing else in my space other than that. You can probably feel it from me right now because I am so tapped into it. And they feel that, and they feel that power, they feel that energy, and it actually tunes them up to that place so that they know they can see it. And then the question is, when we end this conversation, will you be able to sustain this on your own?
Mm.
Yeah,
Because what I'm feeling from you is that we have brought them into the place where transformation happens. So I started this conversation with the question about
that's right.
transformation. I always talk about the fact that coaching is about transformation. It's not about education, it's not about information, it's about creating a transformation. And what I'm getting from you is in order for us to create transformation, we must be at the highest state of energy, which is the enlightenment energy, because we can't transform in the negative energies. There's
No.
no transformation happening.
Well, you can. You can bring somebody down, and
You can bring
we
somebody
do.
down. Right.
People do.
Right. Right. Okay. But for the highest good, the transformation that we want to create as coaches, we need to put ourselves into that state, and we need to bring and uplift the client or the prospect into that state as well. So they see the possibility. And then you're also creating the gap because now you're their support that got them there, and you're going to be the support that's going to maintain them there in that state of transformation.
That's it. Is there's a way to sustain. I have the ability to do that for myself, and I have the ability to show you how to get there and strengthen your ability. And you asked about enlightenment. So, yes, it's a little bit of the woo woo, but there's more to it. Our wisdom is the light.
Mhm.
Okay. The lighthouse is not a Buddhist monk, the lighthouse is performing a function. It is grounded. It is anchored. It does not fly up and down the beach, doesn't run, is not a searchlight. It has its unique striping and colors. Every lighthouse is a different shape, a different color. Okay. And every beam is uniquely different. Most people don't know that. And the reason being lighthouses have this structure because before there was digital navigation, before there were even maps, there were lighthouses. And for a captain to know where the captain was, where the boat was, they knew what to look out for in terms of the lighthouse. Which lighthouse told them where they were.
Mm.
And I've done a lot of research on lighthouses. And the beam, same thing. So at night, if they couldn't see the shape and the colors, the beam being uniquely different told them where they were. So it's just like coaches. We all know what we stand for. We're all a little bit different in our shape, in our colors, and we all have a message and wisdom and enlightenment to share in a dark world, but we all do it slightly different. And it's always at the top connected, right?
Mm.
So the source is the vibration of enlightenment, which can only come from being connected to divine source. So if people want to hear this spiritually, okay, that's spiritual, not religious. But I would like to think a really good coach knows that their wisdom is not coming from their brain and just their past experience.
Mm.
There you go.
Yeah, I like that. So, how do we do that? How do we get into that vibration? How do we stay in that vibration? How do we maintain that vibration when we're dealing with prospects and sales and we're running a business and there's the stresses and anxiety of social media and all the hundreds of things that we need to do and the different pressures that we have and the crazy world we live in? How do we get and stay in that state for ourselves and for our prospects and clients?
Well, the first answer is we be our own coach. And I say this to my clients all the time. They'll come to me and say, this happened, da 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 da, and they're triggered. And my first question to them is, so let's say this was a client of yours. What would you say to the client? And sure enough, they'll pull, right? They'll get into their knowledge, their experience with, they'll pull it and go, okay, so why are you not coaching yourself? That's the place I begin. And then we get to all the other things that they're choosing to get involved in. And I did a presentation a couple of weeks ago on there's a lot of scientific study happening now. There's a term for it. It's gone right out of my head. But we can be influenced by the energy of a group of people. I think everybody has had either by a group of people or by an individual.
Hmm.
Okay. So I'm saying to all coaches, go do that research of how easy it is to be pulled down if you're not consciously holding on to your own principles. If we're holding back, if I'm holding back, standing up for what I believe in, not in and I am not saying this in a righteous way. I'm saying it's just this is where I stand. This is my stand. I must know that. I must know my values. I must know my deal breakers. I must know what I'm up to in the world, minute by minute, minute by minute, minute by minute. And when as soon as I lose that, because I was around someone else who was stronger in their stand and it pulled me down because low vibration energy actually is denser. It moves slower and it has more mass, which is so weird. So again, light is light, lower vibration is darker and slower and heavier and has the ability to pull us down. We know when that happens. I say a great coach gets in communication with somebody as soon as they know it's happened and they can't pull themselves out.
Mm.
That they go get with somebody who reminds them that there's a different perspective.
Right. And so that's why coaches need coaches too. I mean,
Exactly.
we
Exactly.
gotta be our own coach, but we also all have those blind spots.
Or we know they're there and just get stuck. I'll say so, just a few days ago, I reached out to somebody that I admire very much in what I do. She understands vibration and frequency. And I was dealing with something. And I was making a case, you know what they say, like I knew what was being triggered. I could put forth all the reasons why I was correct in my feeling. And the more I did, the lower my vibration went. I could just feel it. And I'm like, that is just yucky. And I am ruining my life and ruining my business in this moment. And I did not hesitate at that point. Got in touch with her. I said, I just perspective shift, please. And she got on the phone within 15 minutes. I just said, okay, I already know why I'm triggered. This is where it's coming from. All I want is a higher perspective. And I know you can
Mm.
give it to me. And she just reminded me of truth. And I went, yeah, that's right. Okay, I can hang my head on to that. I'll hold on to that. And that was it. I was back in action. Didn't change the situation, right? That situation still occurred. I just wasn't attached to it anymore.
Yeah. And this is I mean, what you just shared right there is the incredible value of coaches. It's sometimes just that simple shift in perspective, right? A different perspective because they're a different lighthouse with a different perspective
And as
than you, and you can't you there's no way you could see that perspective on your own.
or right. And not especially if our light has gone out and theirs is
Ah,
strong. So I just want to say it isn't you're not going to shift a perspective on the same like she could have said to me, well, you're justified. I understand. I don't think you're just triggered. You know, how many people have done that drama and trauma sharing, right? Completely understand. Let's look at that limiting belief and just keep digging at that limiting belief. I apologize to coaches who that's your work. All I'm saying is we don't have to keep digging at it. It's sitting right there staring at us. Let's give them a higher vibration truth.
right. Shifting into that higher vibration truth. Yeah. That's huge. I mean, that really is we talk so much about the energy that we bring into a conversation, the energy that we bring when we interact with other people. And this kind of it actually creates a bit more of a tangible discussion that we can have about how we're showing up and the frequency and energy that we're bringing into a conversation and into a situation. How has this been received? Tell me, because you've been sharing this now with your clients in conversations. How are people receiving this? How is it shifting things for them as well? Give me some examples.
All right. Well, first off, I have shorter coaching sessions that produce bigger shifts. That's number one. Like we get there fast, they shift, they see it, they know what to say, they know what to do, they own it. And all of a sudden, don't need the rest of the hour. Just go
Now,
get in action.
is that because you're showing up in a different energetic state at a different energetic level, so you're approaching the sessions differently?
I'm yes, for the past year, exactly. Yes. Yes. It's once I got there, it's like, just stay here, Stacey. And Norbert, I'm doing my best to not talk about the various tools that I use to that make it easier. And I do have tools, ways, because we talked about TDO technology early on and the measurement of things. Um, just being around, I'm going to say oils and crystals, sound frequency that is high vibration, that can help, but it's not enough. Our physical body has to be tuned to an optimum frequency in order to be able to sustain that. This is all of Einstein's work. And then Tesla, not the car, the real scientist whose work was destroyed to a great extent. Then Dr. Raymond Reif did a lot of research on this. And there are now many, many, many scientists, telecommunications experts, as well as doctors. There are some doctors out there that are beginning to understand the effect of frequency on our body. And this is why it's so difficult right now for so many, from kids to seniors, to be able to hold a high vibration. We are
Yeah.
being bombarded all the time. So now I've just went into a whole nother arena and saying it is more than just mindset. We must take care of our physical body frequency. If you want to say
There
anything more about that, because I know you know, it's there's a
There is
whole
a
lot to go
real
on.
there is a real physical, energetic component to this is what we're talking about here, and it is cutting edge, leading science, that honestly, I'm really hoping and I'm optimistic because I see the conversation now starting to take place in more and more circles. Obviously, there's always gonna be pushback from the closed-minded, conservative type people who just resist any type of new information and change, but clearly, I mean, it's obvious that we are inundated with an incredible amount of electromagnetic frequency
Yes,
that is not supporting our health and our bodies because we're getting sicker. So we don't need to go down that path. But what you are saying is that there are actual physical tools that you use as well to
I do.
maintain that energy because it's actually a challenge in today's modern world to do that.
Yes, and I will just make here's one fact that like it's not woo woo.
Mhm,
They are noticing the more of these EMFs,
mhm.
our bodies are getting dehydrated. Okay. That's the amazing part. The brain and our body's organs, which function when they are more fluid, were meant to be primarily water, they're drying out. So that's what makes it harder to think. That's what makes it harder to get into action on things. This is why, as you said, there's more disease occurring. It is primarily, which then leads to other things, a dehydration of the body and the brain. Isn't
Yeah.
that interesting?
Yeah. Yeah. I had heard that before, and that's really fascinating. Really interesting. Okay, Stacey, this is awesome. We're gonna leave some links, obviously, for people to get in touch with you, for people to connect with you, because you've raised some really interesting and intriguing topics of discussion here. So I'm sure that there's some people that are resonating with this message, and they're gonna want to connect with you. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're working on right now, any projects or books that you're writing, and how people can get in connection with you?
Well, for right now, no more books. I'm just saying for right now, because selling from your comfort zone is still extremely important. And I do have a master class around that. I am actually building, I have quite a large organization of people who are using these principles, selling from your comfort zone with the high vibration, for building their own business. I am building a team. I have a sales team for high frequency products where we are practicing. That's why for the past year I said rather than just talking about it, let me actually see if it works for not just me but other people. I have folks who I've known for years who never made a sale who are rising up the ranks. They just they stand back and look marvel at themselves like how are they doing this? Because they're maintaining their frequency and they're helping other people maintain theirs. So this is really what I'm devoting my life to at this moment until anything shifts from here. And I'm very much in the principles of how to raise your frequency to make more sales.
I love it. I think a lot of people I just thinking about all the coaches that I know and work with and am surrounded by, I can see a lot of people that are going to be pulled in by that message and that concept and that idea. Because it taps into a lot of things that I think we already know as salespeople and as coaches where we need to be. And you're just kind of creating, I think you're actually making a practical way of being in that state, of being able to show up in that state instead of, and nothing against Tony Robbins, love Tony Robbins, right? But the Tony Robbins, get in state type of thing where we're forcing ourselves to get in an energetic state to show up. You have some thoughts about that.
I'm
So
just saying you can't push enlightenment. That it's like an oxymoron. You can't do it. It's you can't. I just say that's the exact opposite. Push is not flow. Flow is actually effortless when you know it's there. And I'm just going to repeat again what Einstein said. The law of gravity is a universal principle. You don't have to believe it, but go jump off a building and you'll experience law of
yeah,
gravity, right?
yeah,
Law of vibration is actually what people were referring to as the law of attraction because the vibrational frequency is what attracts like. So it doesn't matter what people look like. My husband and I have from the minute, there was attraction because at our core, we were vibrating and continue to vibrate at the same energy, the
yeah.
same principles, the same. But to look at the two of us, you would never think we belong together. So what Einstein said is when you want something, you must know what the vibrational frequency is of it. And then you must get yourself to that vibrational frequency. And when people will say, how do you do that? I'm going to give a metaphor. Imagine you want to see a Broadway show, Broadway theater show on Broadway in a theater that is on Broadway, right? That's what you desire to do,
Okay.
except you're in Vancouver, Canada. Okay. Are you going to find a Broadway theater that's on Broadway in New York in Vancouver?
No, I got to get myself to Broadway.
That's exactly it. You can wish, want to hope. You can sit here and go, oh, I want to be in New York. Or you get yourself to New York. You get yourself a ticket and you go to a Broadway theater and you watch a play if that's what you want. So, are there things to do? Yes, there are things to do. The beauty is, for some people, it costs nothing. If they are willing to truly feel, as we say, be, do, have, energy's energy. You can pull yourself to it, pull it to you, meet in the middle. But for most people these days, anywhere in the world, there are too many forces that are lowering that frequency and they need support.
Yeah, I think most people would agree with that, honestly. Stacey, this has been fantastic. Always a good
I
conversation
think
with you whenever we get together. So appreciate you being here and sharing your decades of experience and growth and insights and wisdom and experience coaching and working in this field. And you always bring something new. And this is what I was saying at the very beginning. It's always fascinating to talk with you because you always bring something new, something different, a different perspective. And I think we can all learn and appreciate that. So thank you so much.
Well, Norbert, thank you for being one of my high vibration coaches for all this time. And I'll just see, if you don't know Norbert, get to know Norbert. He is one of the masters in being able to stay at a high vibration, and has for a very long time. So Norbert, thank you.
Thank you so much, Stacey. All right, guys, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. And like I said at the beginning, if you are a coach, I want to invite you again. If you're a coach, consultant, or trainer, and you're looking for clarity on your marketing, come join us for that Digital Mentors Compass workshop. It's free, it's interactive. You can register at compassworkshop.com. And if you enjoyed this episode, please, we're a growing podcast, so we need your help. Please share it out with your network. I'm sure others can benefit from this message that Stacey shared here today. Be sure to subscribe, like, leave us a review, all that stuff. This has been a conversation between two coaches.